possible to try that. I don't think that works so well though.
I
That
was
that
thinking
goes
of Dabda.
yeah,
Dab-
it kind of goes towards denial. Let me start our recording. Let me let the doggy out. And let me say good morning. It is 8 o'clock. I'm Rabbi Brian. This is the Saturday service. It is a different way of doing a service, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm joined by a bunch of friends, and let me, I'm gonna put them on the screen. There we are. Wave, say hi. Glad, and more people are still joining. So wonderful. We have people who are from all over the place, and I'm honored and glad that you're here. If you're watching this on Facebook or Zoom, or you're streaming this on Twitch, and extra points, I don't think many of us gray hairs know what Twitch is.
What's Twitch? What's Twitch?
Twitch is where all the gamers stream their content. So while you're playing a video game, you can stream it so that other people can watch you playing a video game, and you can interact with them. And
I've heard of it.
We're cool.
Oh.
That's all you need to know.
Whoopee.
So good morning. Good morning. We ended last week. We ended last week with this idea when you give a compliment. There were 3 letters that we were trying to do when we give compliments. That compliment should have a D, and just like Dallas Fort Worth, but it was Dallas Fort North, DFN. That whenever we give a compliment, and this is a little review, and if you were here last week, please play along, and if you don't remember it, that's all right. You're still a good person. That compliment should always have these 3 pieces to them. Do you remember what they were? First thing in a compliment should be a D.
Did. What the person did.
What the person did. Well, good job, Maria. You answered that question. It's what you did. And then the next part of compliments, that's only the very beginning of a compliment. The second part of a compliment should include
How it made me feel.
Yeah, so when you did that thing, when you answered the question, it made me feel like people are paying attention. And then bonus is if you can hit this one in too, what is the need within yourself that was fulfilled by the feeling of what the person did? So when we give a compliment, we want to say the need of mine to feel important, to feel like I'm sharing. I feel like I'm part of a community. I feel that the need in me of feeling like I'm part of a community was met by your answering these questions. So thanks so much. How did you do last week? Did anyone try this? I do have a new set of stickers, by the way, not to make it bribing, but I did get a new set of stickers. Some of them are shiny and glittery, and just saying, they're really cool. Annie and I bought them together, so you know they were bought with good taste. Did anyone do this last week? Do a compliment to someone trying to do the did feel need? I'm going to take that as a no, not really, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I got it.
I've complimented people, but I wasn't conscious about.
Okay. Thank you, Shmuley. Emily, you're nodding along. What do you have?
Yeah, I did. I'm trying to think. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's something I said to my son about how kind he's been, and he always is.
It's wonderful, and it's
the result was I got another hug.
Well, then you don't need a sticker.
No. I know. That was perfect.
That's wonderful, Emily. Anyone else want to play along on that giving a compliment and having a little bit further connection with people? Okay, well, I'm going to put this one ahead again, that if you haven't done this, to give it a try this next week. I have this crazy idea that we can actually change the whole world. We can change the whole world by doing simple things like loving each other and loving on people a little stronger. Yes. So please to try this homework. Spread a little sunshine, spread a little love.
Yeah. I felt,
Good, good, good. I have a quote. This is a friend of mine, and it's important is what's behind her. This is Beth, and on the wall behind her, over her left shoulder, it says, can you read what it says there?
No, your mission is greater than your fear.
Your mission is greater than your fear.
Oh.
I thought that was an interesting phrase, so I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. Your mission is greater than your fear. Greater than your fear. I'm going to put that up on the screen right there. There it is. Your mission is greater than your fear. What does that mean? What does that mean your mission is greater than your fear?
It sounds like there's always going to be fear with a mission.
It sounds like there's always going to be fear with a mission. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. There's always going to be fear with a mission. I find some comfort in that.
I do too.
Yes, it's a big comfort.
It's a big comfort. Your mission is greater than your fear, which means what about fear?
You can expect it.
Amen.
And it can't stop you.
Ah, you should expect fear, and it can't stop you.
Mm-hmm.
Who finds
It might
a little
want to
bit
convince you that it can stop you, but it really can't stop you.
correct? Your mission is greater than your fear. Means you're always going to feel fear. There's a great phrase, and the internet, God bless the internet, attributes the following quote to both Chinese aphorism and Martin Luther. Rags, I'm glad you thought that was as funny as I do. I think it's just like, that's really far afield. So the quote that was said, either it's probably both, Chinese aphorism and Martin Luther, is that the birds of worry and fear will always encircle your head. Over this you have no control. But whether they make a nest in your hair, over that you do have control. I'm going to say that again. Either Martin Luther and or Chinese aphorism says,
Come on.
the birds of worry and fear will always encircle your head. Over this you have no control. But whether you let them make a nest in your hair, over this you do have control. How are you doing today? How many of you have birds living in your hair? Oh, come on, honest people. I know you. Let's see those hands.
Okay.
We'll have a little bit. And then give me this quote from Beth, and how does it help?
Okay.
Your mission is greater than your fear.
Get a haircut.
Get
Thank
a
you,
comb.
Rob. Go ahead, Alex. You had your hand up, my friend.
Oh, I got Zoomified, but I was going to make the comment that I actually do sometimes have parrots living in my hair because I own several of them.
Yeah,
but,
that's true. That's true.
But the birds in the hair thing is definitely something that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah. So. How many of us are dealing with birds in hair right now?
Let's see.
Emily, the answer is yes, honey. Emily, do you have no worry and fear right now?
Oh, no. I definitely have worry and fear.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you saw, let me ask a human question. For if you were all looking at the screen when I said, who has worry and fear? Who has birds in their hands? So let me just see those hands again. Who has worry and fear in their life? When you see other people's hands go up, what does that human part of your heart tell you?
I'm not alone.
I'm not alone. Look at those poor people who are all suffering.
Yeah. There's nothing you don't feel that other humans don't feel also.
Right. You're not alone. And I also have the feeling when I see other people, I think, oh, God bless them. I hope they're not in that much pain.
Mm.
This is going to bring us back to where we started before the 8 o'clock hour with this Richard Rohr quote. Richard Rohr said, if we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it.
Oh.
If we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it. I think we all agree that one's true.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it. What can we make out of that?
Fred?
I think it's that we've all been around people who are suffering pain of one form and another, and we feel empathy for them because we perhaps have suffered at some time the same kind of pain. But if the people don't control it, it gets so bad that it can spread and ruin things.
Yeah.
That, missions or plans.
It can be cancerous, right? Our pain can grow, and it can grow upon itself.
Yeah. Pain is contagious.
Pain is contagious. What a beautiful medical image. Yeah, it's contagious, and it's growing. Unless we do what?
Rise above it.
I think rise above it and work through it.
Yeah. Recognize what is in us that's stronger than that. As it says, the mission is stronger.
Meg, you had
Go
ahead, Jack.
Does that imply that every mission has fear attached to it?
Yeah. Most of the ones I do.
Confusing to me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even recall anything I've ever done that had fear in it when I was on a mission to do something. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. I hear what you're saying, Jack. That if I'm on a mission to do, I'm just going to go straight at it, and I'm going to have little fear. Well, I think that was exactly Beth's quote. Your mission is greater than your fear. Mission is greater. It's larger than the fear. Sometimes we lose sight of our mission, and we get into the fear. Yeah, Carol.
We also have to realize that pain is positive. That if we didn't feel pain, we would burn ourselves and not even know that we're burning. We have to learn to use pain to understand it. But pain is a wake-up call, and you have to teach children, especially if you have a child who does not feel pain, you have to teach them what's meant by hot, what's dangerous, and so on. Pain is not only negative. It's very bad if you don't have pain, because then you don't catch things fast enough.
Yeah, that brings us. Thank you. Yeah, pain. It's real, and it's here to help us. Meg, it brings me to what you were saying before, that this brings us back to this dabda. That any pain that we have follows this 5-letter sequence. The last one is acceptance. But we don't just start out with acceptance. It takes transformation to get to acceptance. And the very first one of these is the one where we say, is denial.
I'm not saying. It's just here.
It's denial is where we say no, that thing didn't happen. No, I don't have that pain. No, I'm not been hurt. Bonus points.
No, I haven't done anything wrong.
That's the denial. Yeah, thanks, Ray.
Anger.
Anger is number 2. Often we look at whatever hurt us and we get really angry. When we're going to try to transform that pain, we have to move from anger. And anger is great. Anger is so filling. It's so tasty. It's so I think we forget how delicious anger is. We really enjoy our anger. Don't we enjoy our anger?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we can really enjoy. Righteous indignation is just like a tiramisu. It's just delicious.
I would say that's one of the biggest problems we have in society right now. Is we're stuck in anger.
Is enjoying our anger. Yeah. I have one more analogy on the tiramisu: is it keeps you up all night.
Isn't that politics? A lot of it.
Politics.
Right? You saying that you shouldn't have done that, and you're an asshole because you did. I mean,
yeah, but I think it's more fundamental than politics.
Well, not just politics. No.
Okay.
Not sure anything. What's fundamental about it besides its anger?
So we got denial. We have pain. Pain comes in. We say, no, I'm not in pain. And then we tend to say in order, I'm mad. It's good. It's healthy. The next one after anger?
Bargaining.
Well, maybe this is for the best. Boy, am I telling myself that with my book right now. Oh, it's all going to work out perfectly fine. It's all going exactly how it's supposed to. That's bargaining.
Maybe.
See?
Well, another way of bargaining would be, well, if you take away this pain, then I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah. Absolutely. We can barter away the pain. And then there's often depression, which is just sad. These don't always happen exactly in the dabda order. And let's not judge ourselves if we find ourselves in pain that we're only at anger. No reason to extra judge. Yeah, Bob, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I think that what's occurring to me is that there's two different types of pain.
Okay.
The physical pain and the emotional pain. And sometimes the physical pain we don't have a whole lot of control over. But the emotional pain is what we can probably work on getting some control over that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Bob, the number one go-to I see people use with regard to not wanting to transform the pain is to just shut it off and pretend it's not existing.
Right.
And that's not transforming it. That's putting it. That is the trap that Richard Rohr is talking about. If we don't transform our pain, we need to transform it. We can't just pretend it doesn't hurt us.
Stuck in denial.
Yeah. Thank you, Betsy. John, you have your hand raised.
It seems to me there's an important qualifier in all this, and it is the expression that's there implies working on your own. And a lot of what we talk about is just that. Relying on yourself to do these things, as opposed to being part of community, which supports all that stuff that makes that whole quote so much easier. If you've got community with which you can share and therefore deal with your pain much more readily and much more quickly.
If we do not transform our pain, we most assuredly transmit it. And what you're suggesting is the best place to transform pain is with others.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How many of us, on the other hand, feel some pain and immediately go towards isolation? How many of us do that?
Yep.
Isn't it fun being human?
Not always.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's
Not
exhausting,
every day.
isn't it?
It doesn't work well, though.
It's the only one we got. But it is a complicated thing, which is, I think, why we all do this. And John, you're absolutely on target. Why we do it in community is to see, oh, I'm not the only one who's doing that. Transforming pain with a group. Yeah.
Fear doesn't always mean it's paralyzing either. It just means it's present.
Good point. So your mission is greater than your fear. It doesn't mean you're going to be paralyzed. It just means that you got the birds of worry and fear circling around your head.
Well, and if it's something brand new, that makes sense. That's very human. Like I don't know how you do something you've never done before without some trepidation or concern or anxiety. I mean,
right, but your mission is greater than your fear.
Exactly.
We'll get through. All right. I'm gonna turn us to a different topic, but I wanted to just see if we have any last thoughts on transforming pain and looking at fear. I'm gonna put those ones away. I'm gonna look at all your faces. Hi, faces. Hi, people.
But I believe that pain is what makes us ask, what is my mission?
Yeah.
Because when you're going through pain, you can turn so bitter that you won't care for anyone else, or you can turn it to the better. And right now you're going through pain, but then as time passes, when you find other people going through the same, by just going out to that person and saying, you know, I really understand what you're going through because I went through the same thing, makes the other person feel that he or she or whatever is not alone.
I'm going to put everyone on the screen for a second. All of these people are in pain.
Yeah.
All of us are. All of us have some pain. It doesn't mean that it's paralyzing, as Joe said. It doesn't mean that we don't also have joy. We can have more than one emotion at a time. We can be scared and we can be in pain, and we can also all be healing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us all back off the screen. We're going to transition to something else. But before we do that, let me make a few quick announcements. Hey, you see that? The arrow's going backwards. Why? Because it's a retreat. Just doing some thinking and planning on doing a Religion Outside the Box retreat in 2024. And I have found out that my first initial thought of, hey, let's do it in the middle of North America, puts us very close to Bob's house. But it's really hard to get to for a lot of people, that the coast seem easier to get to than the middle of the country, the middle of the continent. So we will see what we do with the retreat. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm looking forward to that. Also coming up September 22nd, live on the web, I'm going to be doing a Jewish high holiday service. Everyone is welcome to that. And then if you happen to live in the Portland, Oregon environs, Betsy, I will be doing a service, and Ron and very few others who happen to live out here. I will be doing a high holiday service in Grant Park right afterwards on Friday at 6:30 at night. I'll send out details about that. But I'm no longer going to try to do the live hybrid and in-person high holiday service. It was not my favorite. I don't mind doing Saturday service live and in virtual at the same time, but the high holiday service didn't feel right after a few years of trying. So you're all invited. That's it for those announcements.
And Grant Park is a lovely place.
It is a lovely place. Okay. Let's think about patron saints. Let's talk about patron saints for a moment. And I found that I have this wonderful advantage of not being Catholic, which means I don't really know what all the rules to being to patron sainthood are. And because I'm not Catholic, I don't have to play by the Catholic rules. I can change the rules and just play with the idea. So as I wrote, I saw somebody refer to Carrie Fisher, the actress, as a patron saint of vulnerability. And I love this idea because I got a little extra noise coming on the line. Thank you for muting that. Somebody put Carrie Fisher as a patron saint of vulnerability, and I thought, well, that's wonderful because Carrie Fisher was really open and honest about her mental health, and she was very vulnerable. And I thought, well, that's really cool. Patron saint of Carrie Fisher, patron saint of vulnerability. Like, I could put a votive candle up about that. And I'm curious if you got to pick. And folks, here this is one of these religion outside the box. We're gonna see. This is an experiment. I don't know how exactly this goes because I haven't done this before. So stay tuned and we'll see how well this goes. If you could pick a patron saint of something, what would you pick a patron saint of? If you could have, and I assume that a patron saint's job, so it's like having a little AI butler in the spiritual realm. You know somebody who is able to get a favor done in a particular arena, and that's what your patron saint gets to do for you. So if you got to pick a patron saint, what would be the category you want the patron saint of? Do you want a patron saint of vulnerability? Or if you could ask a favor and have the ear of a patron saint of something you would want, Rob, what would you want a patron saint of?
Patience.
Patience. I love that. Patron saint of patience. What would other answers be? You'd want a patron saint. If I could talk to a patron saint, I'd want a patron saint of patience. Who else?
That's from the doctor's perspective.
No, I'm writing down the other version of patience. Sorry.
Okay.
What are the other? Who else? Go ahead, Anne. Do you have your hand up?
Compassion. I have one already.
Oh, who is it?
Edith Cavell.
You're going to have to tell me a little bit more.
Edith Cavell was a British nurse in World War I who refused to leave her patients when the line between Germans and British was coming close to the hospital, and they ordered her to leave, and she said, no, I will not leave my patients. The German line came across, and she was giving care to both her British soldiers who were wounded and the German soldiers who were wounded. And she did something with the British soldiers as she saw that they were going to survive. She whispered to them, you are going to live, but I'm going to teach you how to pretend that you are dying. And so many British soldiers were allowed to be sent back to England to be buried and to die. And when the German army found out what she was doing, she was the first woman executed by firing squad. But
it's quite a story.
She saved so many lives on both sides of the war. And what she did, getting the English soldiers shipped back to England, there is a mountain in Canada named for her. It is my favorite mountain in the world.
Thank you for sharing.
Just outside of Jasper, and I'm sure all the Canadians here know about Mount Edith Cavell.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That is a beautiful story of a patron saint. Thank you, Anne. That's great. Not everyone's answers have to be as full and complete and thought out as Anne's. I'll take half thoughts too. Maria, what do you got?
For me, it's courage, which also then for me is inspiration. It's someone in our group actually, who for me demonstrates a lot of courage, and they've used that courage to inspire others.
And you would make that person a patron saint of courage.
Yep.
I'm terribly curious who it is, but I feel like I oughtn't ask.
All right.
They're not here right now.
Okay. Well, then it's. Thank you for adding. So Maria, you would want to have a relation with a patron saint of courage to get a little bit more of that in your life. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Ron, you would ask for a patron saint of?
Well, I'm going in more general terms for saints because I stumbled on this quote from Thomas Merton, and I'd like to share it.
Please.
Many poets are not poets for the same reason that many religious are not saints. They never succeed in being themselves. They never get around to being the particular poet or the particular monk they are intended to be by God. They never became the man or the artist who is called for by all the circumstances of their individual lives. They waste their years in vain efforts to be some other poet, some other saint. They wear out their minds and bodies in a hopeless endeavor to have somebody else's experiences or write somebody else's poems.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
That's some powerful words.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what does that mean to you, Ron?
In order to be fulfilled, I'm not interested in being a saint, but at the same time, in order to be a fully realized spiritual being, I have to be myself.
Yeah. Yeah. We all have to just be ourselves. That takes some courage, compassion, and patience.
Sure.
I would suspect that to a person, every single person who is listening is more themselves today than they were 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a beautiful thing. That we're all skewing towards our authentic us. That's a beautiful thing. Go ahead, Betsy, and then Jack.
Okay, well, along those lines, Ron, I think of Jane Goodall, and I think about how the young college girl went off to take this opportunity to study chimpanzees, and the arc that her career followed there of adding to the knowledge so much there and becoming such an important advocate for world consciousness of nature and the importance of saving the world.
And what would you put her as the patron saint of, Betsy?
Opportunity, I think. She was able to grab these opportunities in the ways that Thomas Merton was saying that not everybody is able to do.
Thank you, Betsy. Jack, you had your hand up.
Yeah. In my opinion, my feelings in the last 50 years, if you are at least aware that you're on a spiritual path back to God or to your real self, however you wanted to frame it, patience and compassion and courage have to be with you every moment of your life.
And you're saying if you want to have a relationship with God, you need to have these things. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to break.
Well, basically, it comes down to that.
Yeah, I want to make jazz and play along with what you're speaking about, Jack. But let me get to Ray, and then I'll come back to you. Go ahead, Ray.
Well, my patron saint, of loyalty and love would be my grandmother May.
Tell us.
Well, she was born in Missouri, and she married my grandfather after his first wife died. And then during the Dust Bowl, they moved to Arizona, where my grandfather worked in the mines. She had a very, very nice house with indoor plumbing and running water, and a nice house, the whole thing. At 50, my grandfather decided to return to Arkansas and farm again. And so she went with him. I know people say, well, you go where your husband goes, but she did. And he took her back to a farm in Arkansas that had no running water, no indoor plumbing. She cooked on a wood stove. So he took her back 100 years.
And she went.
And I never saw her complain or anything. I went and lived with them for a while in one of my father's crazy episodes. And he showed up at their doorstep with myself, my brother, my sister Paula, and let me think, Johnny, my half brother Johnny, my brother, my sister. Anyway, and she just took us all in.
That's love.
She cared for us. My sister Paula was a little baby, and she took care of her in all the aspects that a mother would. But she never asked for anything. She just did it out of love and the loyalty she felt to my grandfather.
I love that. That does sound like a patron saint of love. Thank you for sharing that, Ray.
You're welcome.
Tell me her name again, Ray.
May.
May.
M-A-E.
Thank you. Oh, God bless. John, what do you have?
I think of serenity as a characteristic, and
you got a patron saint?
Well, yeah. In my reading of Thich Nhat Hanh, and the really simple example is, why do we wash the dishes?
All right. Why do we wash the dishes, John?
And I know so often before I read this, it was like, okay, we have to get the dishes done, so now we can go and do something else after supper, and it leads to the rest of the evening and all that kind of stuff. And therefore, you just do it and without thinking about it. His thing is, you wash the dishes to wash the dishes. In other words, it's all about being very much in the moment, being very mindful of what you're doing, and being very calm about it. It really helps you to settle right down. When you go to wash the dishes, just think about just washing the dishes. Never mind what comes after or what came before. Right. It's just, we're doing this because it's a task that we need to do, and we need to do it well, and we need to do it thoughtfully.
And being present, which I'm
being
going to...
present and being, to me, it brings the serenity.
I love it.
Just
John,
peace.
what you're saying helps me to tie right back to where Jack was. And this is all about God. Without using the word, we're using the word serenity and patience and compassion and courage, and to just be where we are. To be present towards love. It's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to try a different little a version of this, and we're going to see how well. I'm thinking we're going to have. I want everyone to think of, you get one patron saint. Think of whoever your patron saint is that you're going to ask something of. I don't want to know who the patron saint is, but I want you to think of the thing you're going to ask the patron saint for. I don't care what the patron saint is, but I'm imagining that we're going to have a lot of similarities of answers. If everyone were to say what they were asking their patron saint for, my guess is that we're going to have maybe only 3 or 4 categories and everything is going to repeat over in itself a few times. But before we do that, I got to make sure everyone's got a patron saint and a request in mind. Everyone have a patron saint? Is your definition of patron saints? It does not have to be the Catholic Church's definition of who the saint was. It can be anyone. It can be Ray's Grandma May. Everyone have a patron saint in mind? Yeah? You have a request in mind? Okay, without telling us too many details of it, what are you asking your patron saint for? Let's see how this goes. What are you asking your patron saint for? Carolyn, can I ask you?
Yes.
What's the request of the patron saint? Hey, patron saint, give me a little, or can you help me, or what's the question? What's the request?
An ability to be more kind and loving.
Okay, beautiful. And go ahead, Bruce. And thank you. I'd love to hear from voices we haven't heard yet.
Persistence.
Be kind.
Because with all of those other qualities, if you have to have persistence and resilience to go against hope.
Yeah, more will get done if you have persistence. That's true. Rags, you willing to share?
Hopeful.
Rita, what would you ask for?
Acceptance.
So mine should be hope, so it's a noun. Sorry.
I was thinking of changing it to hopefulness.
Yeah, but I thought of that too, but I like hope better.
Okay, then we're going to just do hope.
Yeah.
Harold, you willing?
I'm struggling a little bit because I have an issue with second guessing. So I don't know how to put that in words. I would like to figure out how to not second guess.
I think Meg's got a solution to that one.
Yeah. Once you've made the decision, realize that that's the right decision and go with it.
Harold, have you ever heard of Meg's Law? Meg's Law says whatever the decision is, make it the right decision.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you get it right the first time.
Oh, Meg gets it right every time. She's just decided that it always is the right answer, even when it's wrong.
I can't do that.
Okay, so we're going to put you down for second guessing. Candace? You willing? Anyone else want to share one in?
Wisdom.
Okay, these are not overlapping as I promised that they would, or thought that they would. Unless
I don't know if this is too vague, but listen.
Listening?
Yeah, listening.
Oh, I think that's a brilliant one. What else do we want to ask our patron saints for?
Vulnerability.
Oh my goodness, this is all reminding me. I have to find this thing to show you. Hold on one second. Going the wrong way. Sorry. Can you make that out at all? Oh, I'll find it. I'll find it on my computer instead.
Yeah, moving a couch with a.
Oh, I know that what you got there.
Can you? I think I sent it to you, Meg.
Yes, you did. I was highly amused.
I sent it with no commentary. Hold
Right.
on. Meg, do you have it available? I don't.
It's just on my phone.
Yeah. Well, all right. I will work on that in the background. As oh my goodness! Now look what I have done. Okay, I am back to one screen at a time. What do you see in these things that we're asking our patron saints for? What do you see in common between them? They all have something in common?
They're all virtues.
Oh, that's a great answer.
They all involve presence. I guess as I'm defining it, presence as being
what?
Presence.
Presence.
Yep. PRESENCE.
Yeah.
They have to do with interaction with others too, with someone besides oneself.
A lot of them do. A lot of them do. Some of them second
also-
guessing is within ourselves.
But also loving ourselves.
Yeah, these all have to do with peace and love.
Those were the words you expected.
Also,
Go ahead, Jack.
fueled by God's grace. I say, well, all that needs to be fueled by God's grace.
Yeah, it's a phrase we don't use much.
It's not working.
Okay, I'm still trying to find this goofy little meme, and it is fighting with me. Here, Alex, I just texted it to you on the hopes that you can... Oh, I found it. I got it. Come on. Go me.
Yay.
Alex, I'll race you to see which one of us can get it up there first. Because you guys know what's really important in spiritual religious life is winning and doing it first.
Absolutely. Yes. Especially against other members of your community.
ROTB way.
Yeah. Oh, Alex, you got it?
Oh, there
Alex
it is.
wins. There's it is.
Guess who that is?
Thank you, Alex. Is it hard for you to just ask for some help? Me.
Oh my God, yes.
That looks so like something I would do.
All right.
Me too.
Who else is going to admit that this is them?
Yeah.
It's totally.
Oh no! Is it everyone?
Pretty much.
It was at one time.
Okay,
But
okay, we
I
do
have
have-
matured, and my body can no longer do those things, even if my mind says I can.
Right.
Not that way.
Thank you, Ray, for showing us that we do not need to live like this anymore. But that cartoon and our reaction to it is this. How are we going to get these virtues if we don't ask for them? If we don't ask for help? I'll leave us to think about that as I turn us towards Maria for some prayers. Oh, and an extra prayer I just got from our friend Jordan, who's not feeling so hot today. So I'm adding him in because he texted me this morning. Maria, but the usual way of adding people is to please go to rotb.org and go to the clubhouse and add names in that way. Please. Go ahead, Maria.
These are the names of people to lift up and send positive energy to. The Dixon family, Michael and Art, Gary Nelson, Charlene, Greg, Mike, Rob, Danny, Kim, the people affected by wildfires in British Columbia and the Northwest Territories, Chris Meyer, Tammy and family, Amanda and Carolyn and family, Sheridan H., Beverly K., Rob B., Randall M., Caitlin and Patty, Maggie's health and hopefully a job in the U.S., Karen K., Alex, Suzanne Kent, Kim Evans, Kathy Elliott, Angie Mattingly, Marlene, Larry, Joe, and Caden Rothschild, Karen Mayer, Jordan, Amber, Jim Carver, Eric, Frank D., Karen K., Elaine, Mary, the Dare family, Philip, and Stephanie. And if there is another person in our community we can offer light and love to, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list in the clubhouse. And for the people who aren't named but who are in our thoughts, we send them light and love as well.
Thank you, Maria. And here's our 1 minute timer. Well, thank you guys for that minute. Announcements, as always. Hey, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to not be okay. We aren't always tooting along doing well. And that's fine. That's all right. That's how this always works. If you're having a hard time, that's okay. You're having a hard time. It's okay to have a hard time. We don't hear that enough. It's okay to have a hard time. Okay. Few announcements. Thank you everyone who started joining in at 7:30, who joined a half hour early to start the chat off. And everyone is welcome to stay after the 9 o'clock hour Pacific time. We go into small groups. Please do that. I got Ron is our poet laureate for today. You'll be running the poetry group.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And Deep Dive, who is our dive master today? I need a volunteer for dive master, please. Anybody here who usually goes to Deep Dive willing to hold on to the keys to the castle on that one? Aaron, it's all you.
All right.
Thank you for that. And then there's also Chit Chat Room and Maria.
Do I have to do anything special to be the first, or have to be the first there?
You just have to be so that when there's a question and we have to look up the chain of commands of who's the definitive answer on that one, that one's you.
Okay. I will try my best.
You will do perfectly fine. Thank you for volunteering, Aaron. Other announcements. Please contribute. If you don't make donations to Religion Outside the Box regularly, please do. Donations are now helping me to get towards a book. You'll see more details in the 77% weekly that comes out on Monday. It's a sweet little issue. Book progress. I am just, because let you all know, I am submitting to new agents. That's the game. Meditation is every day at 2 p.m. Pacific time. You can join me on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, or at rotb.org and just meditate along with us. Shekinah group, if you want to talk about the God word more, please hang around afterwards, get in touch with someone, and we'll make sure that you get all the email about when the Shekinah group has meetings. Office hours are every Tuesday at 11 o'clock Pacific time at this same exact Zoom link. You are all welcome to join. And the clubhouse, please make sure to go to the clubhouse where things like the retreat are discussed. If you go to rotb.org and follow the links to the clubhouse, we'll see you there. Other announcements anyone has? No? Let me take a look at what I still have on my screen I haven't done yet.
You already did that once today.
Yeah, do they have a secret way to get back in again, or do you just breed dogs in there?
They know how to
deer.
Okay, so they can open the door by pushing. Pulling is a little hard on their. They have
Well, you don't
figured
want
out
them pulling; they'll take holes in the door.
they have done that to two of the doors, not this one. This one. So I have my very fancy automatic door stick. It works. Did I have any other announcements? Oh no, but I did want to. Oh, I don't have enough time to do a whole thing, so I'm not going to do a whole thing. But I will share with you guys. Soon as I turn off the, let's say goodbye to our friends who are watching on YouTube, because I want to show you guys something that I don't want recorded, because it shows images of my delightful children and their privacy is theirs. So say goodbye to all the people watching at home, watching on Facebook, and I'm going to share with the rest of you. Hold on a second. I'm going to finish